I am wishing you a very welcome from the beautiful and seductive city of Madrid in Spain. Next to me I have one of the most interesting and courageous mistresses, Mistress SinPiedad. The majority of you probably already know her, right? Because she is very well known, she's internationally, and I thought it would be a great opportunity for you to get to learn the person, the woman that is behind the image. So welcome to my podcast, and thank you for accepting my invitation to have a discussion over coffee, because you know all the most interesting conversation happen usually over a cup of coffee, right? So
Of course. Cheers, darling.
cheers. I
Nice.
don't know if you can say cheers with the coffee, but
No, in Madrid we say cheers in. I think so. Why not?
really?
Even with water.
Okay, then cheers with coffee.
Nice to see you again.
It's lovely to be here in
Nice
your
to see
dungeon.
you.
You have a very lovely dungeon, by the way. Congratulations. Tell me a little bit about this place. You people will not know, but maybe I will insert some pictures during our discussion, so you can see what an beautiful place Mistress SinPiedad has created in Madrid. So I want to start from asking you, are you a lifestyle dom or you're just professional?
I'm a lifestyle dom, not all the time. Yes, when I have the opportunity, but like a pro-domme, of course, 24/7 hours,
Okay.
a whole year.
Oh wow! And since when did you start it, or how did all the BDSM started, all the Femdom started for you?
Well, fandom is for me since I was almost a kid.
Okay.
From the school, as I saw also in my family with my mother and my father. She was the boss all the time.
Your father?
My mother.
Oh, okay.
Of course, my mother.
You see?
My father, he was just doing everything for her. But this would be for the whole mistresses or the whole women in the whole world.
So it was in a vanilla environment that they had this power exchange, or was it in a fetish setup? Or
Yeah, I saw since I was since I remember, like when I was 4, 5 years old, always my father and my mother, they had beautiful big fetishes about my mother's feet.
Okay.
Every single day I saw my father kissing and massage and serving my mom always.
So how was it for you as their child to see this dynamic?
It was like normal life, you know?
Okay.
Because for me it's like I saw since the morning to the whole day, every day at my house, you know? So for me it was like going to buy food to the shop or lifestyle, you know, like even cooking or whatever.
Was your mother in the business also, or she was just having the lifestyle? Was she a professional dom?
No, my mom, she was very domination to my father, and even with the man in the street, or when she was going for shopping, or I remember her like with a strong character, you know. I don't have so strong like her, I think, but I have a lot of feelings like so similar to her. And of course, for me, I decide to be like this because I am. For me, it's what I saw in my house, and of course, the new things coming when you grow up, because was in my mind, and I was created by myself.
So you had this way of seeing the life as a woman being always in control and being worshipped and being spoiled, why not, by a man as a normality. So for you it was a normality, it was something that you wanted to implement, or on purposely wanted to live, or it was like a choice, I'm gonna live in this way?
For me, must be like this.
Okay.
It's the
So
only
there's
way.
no other way.
It's not other way.
Mm.
That's why it's very difficult for me to have a couple,
Okay.
a vanilla couple,
Mm.
because I can't. I don't enjoy. It's boring for me, you know. So
So
it's not easy. It's if someone wants to be with me in a vanilla couple or whatever, or if someone wants to meet me as males, must be how I am, you know,
Mhm.
because for me it's the only way.
Okay, so there's no, from your part, there's no interest in having a vanilla relationship or vanilla interactions. Tell me, when are you having a partner? Are you being married? Tell us a little bit.
No, I never was married.
Mhm.
Just boyfriends.
Okay, so tell me how difficult, because this is like a sensitive topic, if you want. In this world, we have our interactions, we have our DS relationships, but it's getting, I know from my perspective and from my experience, that it's slightly difficult to find a life partner that can understand all this, and especially if it's both women and man, you know, this is as difficult for the both genders. How is it for you? What is your experience in the dating scene, for example?
With men,
Mm-hmm.
for me it's very difficult. It's very difficult because usually people, they don't understand you too much. They like some of my ideas, but they think also that you are very strange.
Okay.
Or even they be scared, or some of them, they don't know exactly what I have or what professionals doms we are doing, because they think that sometimes even you are a prostitute.
Okay,
You know?
so
And
from
I'm
your
very disappointed, of course.
from your experience, you have
Mhm.
met men that do not know the difference between a professional dominatrix and an escort, let's call it a prostitute.
Exactly.
So my question, because I've heard this several times before from other ladies, but my question is, why do you think this is this misunderstanding? It is. Why do you think men do not know the difference between a pro-domme, a mistress, a professional one, and this part of vanilla interaction escort? Why? Where do you think is the problem?
Well, I think it's not easy, because when you go, it's not now, since a few years ago, it's more information in the networks, in the social media, but it's a bit difficult because some escorts or prostitutes, they do sex, or they show like a fandom, you can do sex also. So it's a bit confused for the people, they don't know exactly. Also, you can see in sex pages, fandom videos, and they mix everything, you know.
Okay.
So I think it's not easy to separate everything, you know, from our business,
Right.
like you or me, or professional, serious dominatrix. With the other side that I respect all the prostitutes, of course,
Right.
and all the
We
women do
need to mention in here that regardless of the activity, we respect everyone. So I'm a firm believer that everyone should be as they want to be, as they are being happy with, and not to follow other opinion, right? Be who you are, be who makes you happy, and yeah, just enjoy your life, your activity, your things. Enjoy being you. you know. So that's like it is mandatory to mention this for the people not to understand or think we are being judgmental. No, no way. We are all humans. We are all like interesting, and we all have things to learn and things to
teach.
To teach also. Talking about teaching, what do you think it would be interesting for men to know before knowing, before meeting a, let's say, dominant woman? In general, not only you as a mistress, as a pro-domme, as a professional, what do you think they must know? What do you think men should know about women, or what men should approach dominant, or how, pardon, men should approach dominant women?
Well, I think women is the most beautiful in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So if they take care of us like queens,
Mm-hmm.
we are queens,
True.
gorgeous, of course. So I think if they care about us in all the ways, will be much better world in everywhere, you know. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so, but it's not easy. It's not easy because everything is very hard. Because we are in the opposite rights many times in every country, for the relations, the cultures, education. I think is since you born, you have to teach your kids in the correct way, you know.
So what you're saying is that everything starts with the education, and in the way that men and women are being educated to
me is the most important. Also, women.
Okay,
They are
this
very
is interesting.
important. Not only men.
Okay.
I don't want to give all the fault for men,
Mm-hmm.
but I think a lot of women also, they don't know how to do it, or they don't know
what
how
exactly
to education
Okay.
the kids, you know.
To how to educate in order to embrace their femininity, or what are you referring to?
Yeah.
To educate men
To
how to
educate.
behave, or
Yeah, to educate their children, because it's the most important when you are a kid.
mm-hmm.
Will be otherwise very difficult when you grow up. You will remember always what your parents teach you.
Right.
So it's the most important is the tree when it's growing, when born. You have to give the best ideas and respect everyone, of course. Woman.
I totally agree with that, and because you mentioned that you're coming from a family that it was this power exchange,
Yeah.
this dynamic.
I was very lucky, very lucky.
Indeed.
Beautiful.
Tell me, what was the main, or if I can say like this, or the most important thing that you learned from your mother as a child, as a young lady, as a soon to be a woman? What did you learn from your mom?
Everything.
Okay.
My
But
mom was beautiful.
if you have to like choose one thing that it was like the most important thing that she taught you.
Respect.
Okay.
The most. Respect always everyone. When I say everyone, I say everyone, not only women.
Mm-hmm.
I say college work and talking about a lot of things, but you know, respect all the people, everyone, like bisexual, lesbian, gays, you know, respect. You have to respect everyone about their decisions. So it's the same.
And on a personal note, on a personal level, what did you learn from her?
About her style, lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing was so easy. She was always teaching even her family. She was the only woman in 13 children. She has she had 12 boys
Okay.
in her family, and she was the only woman
Wow.
in a big family.
Wow. So in a way, your mother had to become or get this dominant attitude because she was growing up in a man-dominated environment.
Yeah, I think so. This was also very important for her to be, you know, stronger. Because imagine 12 boys, and she was the only daughter in the whole family. The oldest and the first she was born. My mom.
Do you tell us a little bit about how did you your road until where you are now? Because now you are an established pro-dominatrix in Madrid, and you're touring all over the world, right? So tell me, how did all this career started? Where did it started for you?
Since I was like 15, 16, I was playing with my new boyfriends when I was very young, and also at the school playing with the guys. I was like very rude and fighting always. Like when something I didn't like it, I say no way. So I was always very square head, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, very. Also, I was not working because for me this was like a game, like playing, like when I have opportunity to play with someone in a Femdom way, I was doing. But during many years, you know, and people was, since I was almost 20, why you don't make a professional way? And I always say, no, come on, how can I charge? It's not nice to charge. So how can I give?
So people from around you saw you as a dominant, and they were like advising you to start building a career in this. Do you remember if now probably you already have a certain perspective about life? What is your perspective about life? How do you see life now?
My life?
No, life in general. What is your perspective about life?
Depend the country, you know. I think because everywhere you travel, I think is very different. In Spain, we have to learn too much more.
Okay.
Especially men, also women. I repeat again. But
no, my question was, how do you see life? What do you see, what do you think that is important in life? And also, if your vision about life itself, if it was in a way shaped by your activity, did your activity influence the way that you see life in general?
I think it's very important. It could be a better way to be a better world.
Do you think if you wouldn't be the woman that you are now, or let me ask you a different, really shape the question. Do you think your life would have been, or how would your life be if you wouldn't have been like a professional dominatrix?
It will be more difficult for me to enjoy in my fantasies, in my lifestyle, and as professional can enjoy every time, because even can I find more slaves, submissives, or how we talk, you know, males that serve me in different ways, at home or at my dungeon or outside, or when I travel, or in other ways. So for me it's easier, because if I wasn't dominatrix, professional dominatrix, so it would be more difficult.
Mm.
Because Spain is a nice country, but still men has to learn a lot.
I think that that's a general aspect. If we are still living, which is not wrong at the end of the day, but it depends from your perspective that you're looking. We still live in a male-dominated society, so the roles are starting to change a little bit, but it still has a lot of there's still a lot of space to develop, right? And women to feel places, leadership places, and claim actually their role. So if you would have to interact with someone that is from outside of the BDSM, the femdom world, what would it be your advice? Like, would you advise someone like a vanilla? What would be your advice from normal, quote, normal people, vanilla people?
Women or men too? Wow.
Your advice in general. Let's make it like this. Your advice for women and your advice for men.
Especially for women, that they will have better life. I think enjoy in all the ways, but also they have to feel it. Of course, if you don't feel it inside you, I have a lot of friends. They want to learn from me, but sometimes I teach them, but it's not easy, because inside them they are also like submissive women, so you can't change that people. So that's why not? Just, we have to be, everybody's different, but some of them, they don't know, they don't have too much information, you know.
That's where my podcast is coming in, because my idea of having this podcast is to allow people to see what is beyond the professional image, what is beyond the what we are showing is basically half, not even half, it's like just a small portion of our lifestyle, of our activity. So I by creating this channel, outsiders have the possibility of having an insight within in this world. So this is where my podcast is being helpful. But now your advice for men that are not already in the BDSM world, or are interested in engaging in, and they're still at the beginning.
I think it's many pages now, and they can find a lot of information. Also, if they see this interview, we can advise them to show, to see our websites, our social media, and they can find easier since a few years ago than before, you know.
So your advice would be to start reaching out to people that are already in the industry and are already living, and gather more information and educate themselves, right? So we are back to the education part, which is like crucial in many aspects, both for men and women, and I tend to agree with that. And it was an aspect that you mentioned, and I found it to be very interesting when you were giving the advice for women, that is very important to feel within. Tell me a little bit about this. What were you referring? You already gave some details, but I want to go even deeper in this aspect. What do you mean to feel it within, to feel within yourself when you're doing it? What were you referring when you mentioned this for women?
For women, when I mention, do you mean about to show the other woman?
Yes, to engage in this. I believe that you wanted to say that if you don't feel, or to follow whatever you feel, if you are being dominant, to be dominant, to embrace your dominance, or if you are being a submissive, to embrace whatever it is within you. That's what you wanted to say, right? Like, not to pretend that you're something when you're not, just because the society is like wanting you to be in a certain way. Was that what you wanted to say?
They must learn how they know, how they feel, because
how would someone learn, or how would someone know how they feel? How they can learn?
They can learn from us. From they have to find, and I think it's the best way, social media, watching clips. There's many places now to get information.
Do you have probably you have, but I must ask, do you have any are you being a mentor to someone? Are you teaching someone?
I did also course to teach more women
in Spain.
In Spain, also in the States.
So you're traveling to US also?
Yeah, and around Europe, but also in the States. I teach some like 2 ladies that they didn't feel very strong, like a dominatrix.
Okay.
They was even almost submissive, and they changed when they meet me a few years ago. One in Miami and the other in New York. Well, first of all in Massachusetts, in Boston it was.
Okay. So what made them change? What do you think it made them change?
Because they say they didn't know too much how to do it. You know, even one of them, she wants to be a submissive from me, but she was like switch.
Okay.
Because I show her. You can see when you know somebody is easy.
You can
to
feel
find,
the energy, yeah.
Something is not very slave, but I knew she was since the first day that I met her, like switch, and now she's dominatrix.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Since you started, probably you have vanilla friends, right?
Yeah.
How is your interaction with vanilla? How do they understand you? Is it difficult for them to discuss with you? Is it how is it? Tell me from this.
Oh, it's not easy because I am how I am in everywhere. I'm for me. I don't want to do like, okay, when I go to a restaurant or something like this, or outside with my friends, and I don't like how they serve me, no, you know, in the restaurant or something like this. I say, no, don't do that to the waiter, so why not? And my friends, oh, they told me, my real name is Eva, and my friends, Eva, don't say that, please. And they get red. I said, why not? What's the problem? Because he was scared, he was shaking. I said, but this is not nice. We are ladies. They have to learn. I don't care where I am. If I am in the plane, I have some problems also in the planes.
Okay.
Why not?
So it's difficult for them to understand your openness, your comfortability, if you want, and your easiness in expressing or addressing something that you do not like, and like not applying and being polite just because it's nice.
And even they prefer don't say anything and stay uncomfortable or treating you bad, no in the correct way.
Why do you think is this situation?
Go back again for the education.
Okay.
When we was a kid, because men, some of them, they don't respect women.
Right.
That's the problem. Because I'm a woman, so they have to respect me and all. So I don't care if I don't like it, or if you are unrespectful for me or for the people I am close to me. Of course, I will not.
You will not tolerate.
Of course not.
What when you're mentioning respect, what is respect for you? Because from each person has its own definition of respect. What do you consider as being something respectful? Is it about the way that you're talking? Is it about the way that you are behaving? What is respect for you?
Respect is in all the ways. Since I go outside and they open me the door and they serve me, because I am the customer at the restaurant, they have to respect me and serve me in the correct way and serve me with the clean stuff, talking properly.
Have you had situation where just because you are being a pro-domme, a pro-dominatrix, you've been treated differently than other clients? For example, you've been to let's just say as an example, right, to a restaurant, and because you have a different aspect, like it is like super visible that you're more or less within this fetish industry in the way that you're behaving. Have you had situations where you've been discriminated, if I might say like this, just because you are you?
For me, I never feel discriminated. I never. But sometimes I feel like, they can feel like you are different. But I try also not going with a dress like dominatrix when I go with friends or someone. When I go with the slaves, sometimes, of course, I dress like a bit like a dominatrix, a bit, not too much. But of course, I think people they feel they catch something on you.
Is it your energy? Is it your vibe, right?
Yes.
Because it happened to me several times where I was dressed just like I'm dressed now in a vanilla outfit, and they did not know what it is, but they could still feel that something is different, So that's what I'm saying. Exactly, and you can see that at some point they are starting to change their behavior. They are starting to be more aware in the way that they are behaving, So that's why I wanted to ask you this: have you noticed any change in the people around you, their behavior?
Yeah. Also, you can see the customer in another tables.
Okay.
We know.
Yeah, you're a gorgeous woman, so it's normal for men to look.
Women, we are always beautiful. All the women.
True.
Because women are beautiful because, yes, you don't need too much to be beautiful,
Right. Tell me about, how do you see, or what do you see this trend of women empowering women as being? What's your perspective? Do you think us women should support each other, or just be like individuals and not care?
Of course, each other, of course.
Okay.
Should be.
Right. What do you think it will be in the future? How do you think this industry, the BDSM industry, will evolve in the future?
It will grow more and more.
Okay.
Of course. Like since many years ago to now, and of course it will be even more. Because we have to show and teach it to everyone too. So it will be more.
How was it from, again, we're returning to your experience, how was it before and how is it now?
Very different. Because before, even for me, when I was trying to find a Femdom or BDSM events or places that can I do it open, you know, for me it was very difficult when I was very young. And now it's easy. You can see in all the cities, not all, but you can find in all the countries, because thanks for the social media you can find it. Also, it's easy when you put some words in Google. For the internet, it's easy to find. So we are very lucky.
How did you find, where did you used to go to find the information that you needed? Because several years ago when you started, it was more difficult to get the information. So do you remember how it was back then? Like to get your information?
I was find it for, not for me, because this information give us in a Femdom nightclubs in Madrid, but it was only magazines, you know.
Okay.
It was very difficult. You didn't have social media, not about this domination. So with these people, they say it was tacones, heels. It was a magazine, tacones altos, high heels. It was a beautiful magazine. I have my father. He was buying every time all the magazines with my mom, for my mom, because they was very fetishes with heels or feet, nylons, you know. So it was easy because the people talked to me about this. If not, I didn't find it. And then I start doing some business, because people say, why you are not charging for, because you spend a lot of hours in this nightclub doing games with people. But for me it was like going to the nightclub, so and polish or worship.
It were those fetish parties where people were coming in there and interacting and playing. Do you think it's important for the community to focus on expanding this activity, on expanding and creating more events where people can interact?
Yeah, it's very important.
Did it help you?
For me, always. The people that the most helped me was the proper slaves. So I must say thank you to all the slaves since the beginning, helped me, and they still.
Do you still keep in contact with submissives that you knew from?
Yeah, since I have slaves. Some die, some they are in another countries, but I have a contact with slaves or submissive. Some they are proper slaves, that some not. That of course, that they helped me in that time, you know, long time ago.
We need to mention that when we are referring to slaves, we are referring in the BDSM context, not the proper word. So just a mention about that. make sure no one is understanding something
wrong.
Exactly. So what was how would you describe the interaction between you and your submissives? How are your submissives for you? What do they represent to you?
I represent everything for them.
And they for you, what do they represent for you? How do you see your submissives?
For me?
Mm-hmm.
For me, they are also everything.
Right.
It's the same way. Because they makes me very happy in all the ways. And of course, I make them alive, you know?
Mm. So we could say that it's a two-way street.
Yeah, it's a good game, you know, a good equip.
Mm-hmm.
The
So
best.
we need to mention the fact that before it's this dynamic, the DS dynamic, there is the human interaction. So even though we might show on social media that we are like very harsh with our submissives, or we are like very sometimes brutal and sometimes like very strict with them, to be plastic, that doesn't mean we do not respect them. Respect and we also love our submissives, right? Because like the connection between a dom and a submissive is one that is very strong and is not just abusive, you know. There is nothing abusive about that.
Of course not.
Everything that is consensual.
I respect them. I always say, for me, the most important is respect everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Comes to serve me in any way. So always I respect all the limits to everyone. I think it's the most important.
Right. And also because not only from a submissive point of view, it's important to know that he's being respected, and the fact that he's putting himself in our control, if you want, at in our service, is being taken care of. Like he's in a safe place, and he is safe to be and to submit. It's one of the most important things from my perspective, to regardless if it's like on a DS relationship or not, for a person to be safe, to feel safe, to feel accepted.
Very
you know,
important.
not to be in an environment where he's not going to be comfortable, because then it will be difficult to open up, right? To explore this dynamic.
It is very difficult.
How do you make your submissive to feel comfortable? How do you show them or make them understand that you are, first of all, appreciating them, second of all, you are respecting them, and third, that you are taking care of them, you know, like their well-being is also important for you, not just like for them to serve you and to obey your orders?
For me, I think since the beginning, when they contact me by email or by telephone conversation or by WhatsApp, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
some of them, they find me the beginning, the first time in my website, and others in a nightclubs, in a nightclubs, or traveling, or in the social media. But since the beginning, I think it's very important to talk to them. Very important.
So communication is mandatory. It's very important.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, the most important. Of course, respect. If they don't respect me, if they are not polite when they talk to me, I will finish the conversation very quick, because I'm not interested in people. They don't show me respect since the first minute. And it's easy. It's just talking to them and listen.
So
Especially
actively
to
listening.
what they are looking for, and it can help them, then I'm sure they will. It's just, they can feel it, you know, that when you talk to them, they will know, is it? You know? I think some of them, they say, oh, with you, can I talk? With another mistresses, sometimes they are very rude and they switch off the phone very quick. Okay. And they say, okay, I don't have time for you, slave, send me application, you know? But it's true. Me, I talk a lot, maybe.
Okay.
And they feel in that way more comfortable.
So it
because I like too much to listen the other way, the other side.
So you are in a way pushing them to open up by talking with them. And
because for me it's also important. I need information to the people is coming to my dungeon, to my house.
Right.
I don't want coming here, everyone like, okay, let's go to play, go to the crossroads, you know? No. You just need to know who is coming.
Right.
Especially for me. And then for them.
So you need to feel some sort of a connection in order to be able to interact. It's not like, okay, I'm contacting you, I'm offering you this and that, and then like, okay, let's play. It's not like that.
It's not so important, yes, because I'm professional dominatrix, just to charge, you know, the money. It's not everything important. The most important, just money. Is because I want to feel safe. I want to feel. I want to give something that they have to be comfortable. If not, I will not enjoy too. And for me, it's the most important to enjoy myself. If I enjoy myself, I will know that they will enjoy too.
Right. So we'll end our discussion here with this very, very important from my perspective idea that even though you are a professional dominatrix, money is not everything. Money is not the only thing that it matters. So thank you very much for this conversation. Thank you for this coffee. And see you soon, and hope that you enjoy our discussion. I loved it. And
can I say something?
Sure.
For the last question, I want to say money is not so important, but of course it's important too, because we are professional dominatrix. I give my whole time, since every single day I work, even in Christmas, in summertime, in bank holidays, all the days since Monday till Sunday, as a lot of mistresses. So we need money, of course, because everything here is very expensive. You know,
right. Yeah, sure.
Boots, leather like this, life, you know, everything. And if we don't charge, because some people say, why do you charge? If you enjoy it, you don't need to charge, give it for free. I say, okay, are you going to your job for free? Always I say, I need to ask you to do.
So they have to understand. They have to understand this aspect also.
Life is very expensive for everyone, not only for dominatrix.
And especially to have like a dungeon you might not see, but I will put some pictures in this podcast. To have like a dungeon so well equipped, like this one is not cheap either, and all costs. And it's
very expensive every month. Everything.
So in a way they have to understand this aspect. It's not all about the money, but money are necessary, like a form of tribute, a form of appreciation towards the dom.
We need it.
Right. They are not buying their place. They are like supporting you as a dom when they are offering the tribute. So thank you very much. This was like such hopefully educative and helpful also for the ones that are from outside of the community, and the ones that are interested in you, you had the chance to get to know the gorgeous SinPiedad from her studio in Madrid. So once again, thank you very much, and we'll see you soon. Visit Mistress SinPiedad. Where do people can find you?
Especially from my website, it's mistress.sinpiedad.com, and also of course my Twitter is the most important, is the people more I get to find. Also FetLife page, well, Instagram and Facebook not too much, because it's not allowed anything, just like a post.
Okay.
So
the best
Twitter
way
on my website
for someone when they're interested in getting to know you a little bit more is through your website.
Yeah, or in Google, just write Spanish dominatrix, or in Madrid, DOMs in Madrid. Something. It's easy if you want to find.
So I'm gonna end everything in here. Thank you very much for following. Hope